everyone, my name is Gabby and today I'm going to bring you on a day in my life through my job working as a maternity PCA. So a PCA stands for Patient Care Associate, and it's basically a CNA at a hospital, so a nursing assistant. For those of you who don't know, I am in nursing school. I just finished my junior year, so I have one more year and then I will be a registered nurse. And I work in maternity, specifically postpartum. So I work with moms and newborn babies just after delivery. And of course, because I work at a hospital and this is my job, of course I did not film my day in my life. I have a few clips here and there of little things that I could record, and everything about my day in the life is a typical day in the life. It's not like exactly this is what happened on this day. This is just a general what happens in my day at my job kind of thing. So I'll insert some clips and also some Google images and other things that will help explain what I do. So I want to explain my job a little bit. I started basically a year ago. Since I'm a nursing student, I just needed clinical experience. For those who aren't a nursing student, you need a CNA certification. And I actually have both. If you want to see how I got my CNA, make sure click above. All right, so now let's get started. So my shift, I work evening shift, so I work about 3 to 11 p.m. But I clock in around 2:45. That way I'm there early and I can get report from the previous PCA. So in report we have like a piece of paper. I'll do like a demo one somewhere over here. But we have a piece of paper that has all the rooms on it and whether it is booked, whether it's us or a labor or an antepartum patient. We only take the postpartum patients. The paper has the patient's last name, the nurse that is assigned to them, as well as the baby, if the baby's in the NICU, if they are on IV mag. In that case, we don't take the patients, that's just the nurse's job, and what time the baby was born, and etc., other information that we may need. And I use this paper while I get report from the previous PCA, and I just jot down notes like who needs vitals at this time, who is on blood sugars, and other things like that that I need to be aware of. At report, we also have a phone. Each of us has a different iPhone, and what we do is we carry that around with us, and if the nurse needs to call us or a patient needs to call us, they definitely can call us or they can text us. That I think is so helpful. It helps with communication and everything. Then after that, I put my stuff down and then I go around the unit just to check everything out. If there are rooms that are booked but the patient hasn't arrived yet, I make sure that it is set up. But if a room is booked, the first thing I do is make sure that it is ready, because I don't know when the patient's gonna arrive, so I just make sure it's ready right away. We have it set up. I can put a little clip of how it sets up. But we basically set up like the bed, the tables, we set up the bed, whether it's a C-section or postpartum, it's different. Then we make sure that the mom has pads in their bathroom and that their room is fully stocked with different things that they may need, like towels, bedding, more Johnnies, etc. And I also make sure they have waters and some snacks. And I also make sure that the crib for the baby is also stocked as well. And we have whiteboards in all the rooms, and I write my phone number of my hospital phone on that board so that they can call me. So after that, vitals are due right when I get there. So after I make sure that the rooms are organized to where they need to be, especially if we have a booked patient, I go around and do vitals on every single patient that I have. This, depending on how many patients, it may take a while, it may take some time. It depends if I have help or if I'm just the only PCA on that unit. More than not, I usually am. I occasionally do have some help though, which is good. But like last time there was only like, I think 9 patients that I had, so that did not take long. Other times I have like 20, and sometimes I'm the only one and I have to do all 20. I think the most I can have is like 27, I think is the highest I can have. I don't think I've ever had that many, but I've definitely had over 20 a few times. But what I do is I go to each room and I take the vitals using a vital cart that I'll put right here. I take their temperature, heart rate, respiration rate, blood pressure, and their oxygen saturation. And I bring a WOW computer with me so I can document as I go. And while I'm in there, I of course introduce myself, ask the patient if they have any questions or if they need anything, and I write my number on their board if it's not already there. Usually it's already there because the PCA before it was using the same phone. So I just change and write my name so that they know who I am. And I go around to every single room and do that. That usually I say it takes about an hour, sometimes more, sometimes less. Sometimes I have to go back if the patients are not in their room, or if they're breastfeeding, or if they're in the NICU, I have to wait until they come back or until they're done. So usually around 4-ish, 4:30, the latest, is when I'm done with vitals. And after that, I usually check the booked rooms again, because usually they come in at around that time, sometimes later, sometimes really early. I always want to make sure. And same thing, once a patient comes to a booked room, I take their vitals right away. I introduce myself, name on the board, get them anything they need. After that, if I don't have any booked rooms, what I do is I stock the discharge cart that we have, which has everything that we need to set up a room. I am very OCD about it because if it's not stocked and I have to set up a room like really fast, it stresses me out. So I like to get that done first, and I organize it to what makes sense to my brain. Every PCA organizes it differently, but that usually takes 10-20 minutes depending on how much I have to fix and everything. And I, if I can, I take my time with it. And then after that, let's say I stock the nursery and the circumcision room, which is usually right in the nursery, just like a little section. But I go in and I look through all the drawers and all the shelves and everything, make sure that things are where they need to be, and if I need to restock some things. And then I just go back to the closet and grab everything and restock everything. And I do the same thing in the little kitchenette that we have in our unit that the patients go to. I restock the cups and make sure it's all organized and ready. And yeah, that usually takes about 30 minutes. I'm pretty fast with it. I'd say I'm pretty fast, so 30 minutes tops it takes. Those are the main tasks that I have, but throughout the day I am doing many other things. Like I do blood sugars on mom and baby if needed, like for gestational diabetes or other things. It's whatever the nurse tells me. I also occasionally do baby baths. The nurses do them more, but when I have the time, I try to help, and I want to learn. I'm a nursing student, so of course I want to learn everything I can. We do baby baths after the baby is 24 hours old, and usually the nurses will do the baby bath along with the other 24-hour care and assessments that they have to do, like PKUs and like just general assessments and other things, and like height and weight and stuff like that. But I can do the baby baths. So when I can, I try to help with the baby baths or just help the nurses when I can. And then throughout the day, I'm getting different calls and texts about grabbing patients, maybe more pads or more towels, or occasionally I have to measure the catheter output, check a patient who's on INOs and stuff like that. I also can bring moms up to the NICU and back down. And so all that, it's different every day, but that's typically what my job is. It just, that part is spread out throughout the day whenever people need it. Depending on how many vitals I have to do at 7, which is our Q4 vitals, so every 4 hours. After the mom gives birth, they have vitals every 4 hours until the baby is 24 hours old, and then after it's every 6 hours with everyone else. So at 7 o'clock, I do the moms who gave birth under 24 hours. So depending on how many that is, sometimes it's like, I remember once there was only like 2 and it was so quick and easy. Other times it's basically the whole floor. So depending on how many patients I have for Q4 vitals is when I eat dinner. If I only have a few patients, I usually wait until 7 o'clock because they're due at 7. But if I have like basically the whole floor, if I have like a lot, I start them around 6:30 and then have them done by 7:30, and then that's when I usually eat dinner. So depending on how many patients I have is how I do that. And then after, I just help with other things. Same thing as earlier, bringing patients to the NICU, doing baby baths, blood sugars, and then just help the nurses with different requests and things here and there. Another thing that I do a lot, this happens a lot at night, when the nurse wants to help a patient get up for the first time after having like a C-section or even a vaginal birth sometimes, depending on the circumstance. They would like extra help, so I always help them. Or if a patient is showering, I usually help them up, make sure they have everything, and then while they're in the shower, I will clean their bed and do a bed change basically, and have them nice fresh linen for when they're done. Also, if a patient leaves during my shift, this is usually earlier during the day. But part of my job is to help strip the rooms for housekeeping so that they can get to things done faster. So I just strip all the linen. I take IV pumps, heating pads, etc. I take those out of the room and put them in the dirty supply area. So that's like basically what I do throughout the day. Every day is different, but I have my like a general schedule with vitals and like my organizing the floor kind of thing that I do. But throughout the day, I'm getting calls to do different things here and there for different patients. And I am also occasionally calling the nurse for any of the patient's concerns, or if their vital signs are like out of whack or something. I call the nurses as soon as I can, or if I see them, I let them know. Like if a patient has high blood pressure, high pulse, low blood pressure, it's usually one of those that is out of the defined limits that I will let the nurse know. And another thing with my Q4 is sometimes we have patients in our Q4 list at for vitals at 7 that are either 24 hours, under 24 hours, or they are post-mag, meaning they are off the IV mag when they were previously. But if they have been on mag, they are always going to be Q4 until they are discharged. And then like if a patient just has high blood pressures, just like have higher parameters of blood pressures, or just if the nurse wants them to have their vitals every 4 hours, usually I will get that and report when I start my shift. So yeah, at the end of the day is usually pretty relaxed because either moms are asleep or they're showering. What I do is I bring babies to the nursery if the mom wants a break to sleep. The babies will go into the nursery and the nurses will take care of them. But yeah, at the end of the night, it's usually pretty relaxed. I usually stay in the nursery because that's where most of the nurses are, unless they're with their patients. So I help out with the babies and stuff. And then around 11, I give report to the next PCA about my day and about anything that they need to know. Clock out and go home. So that is my job. I really like this job. I think it's like a great way to get into OB nursing, which is what I'm really interested in. I'm interested in a lot of nursing parts, but I think OB is my top choice. Yeah, if you have any other questions about my job, please let me know in the comments. I love talking about my job. My friends are probably sick of me by how much I talk about my job. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I have a whole playlist of nursing content on my channel, so if you're interested, please go check it out. I am on summer break, so hopefully we'll be able to get more videos out. If there are any videos that you would like to see, please let me know. I'll do my best to make them for you. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok and Instagram, linked below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye!